Good morning friends, welcome back to my videos. This is Paramita ma'am. Today we will be dealing with a very common topic, that is self-discipline. Now let's see what it is, what are the components, how we will achieve self-discipline, attain self-discipline, and see how common the topic is. As we all know that self-discipline is the ability to take actions irrespective of the emotional state that you are having in order to control yourself. In other words, it's a training that you give to yourself to be a better person. So self-discipline, the only thing over here is, it is the sacrifice you have to do for the immediate pleasure or gratification for the greater rewards that's down the road for the future. Now, say for example, if we relate the self-discipline with a muscle, what we will get out of it? The muscle, that means the more you train the muscle, the stronger you become, and the less you train the muscle, the weaker you become. So self-discipline, the concept of the self-discipline, the practice of the self-discipline is also like this analogy. Now self-discipline is the ability to get yourself to take actions regardless of our emotional state. So what it is, what we derive out of self-discipline. And this is also the ability to control yourself and to have very determined way to achieve the goals that you set for yourself. But we see that most of the people lack self-discipline. We know what is self-discipline, we know that we should practice self-discipline, but in the context of practicing self-discipline, somewhere we fall short. Why do we do that? Because it's common personality or characteristics of a person to have the immediate short-term gratification. We don't have, or we don't practice patience for waiting for something happen to experience something more and to go towards that greater reward, but to have the short-term analysis, to have the short-term rewards. And that is why most of the people lack self-discipline. So to be self-disciplined, what you have to do? You have to yourself get organized, you have to be very punctual, you have to keep your commitments, and you have to prioritize your work. This is very important because see, we have so many work around the clock. We have responsibilities, we have liabilities, we have desires, we have passions, but to be very specific, we have to prioritize our work and we have to do that according to the time that we are getting. The next important thing that we should follow is finish what you start. Say for example, we have so many passions, we have so many wishes, right? So what do? Generally, we start doing a work, but we get frustrated or we get impatient in the long run, in the middle of the work, and we leave that work. So this is not the way we have to go through. We have to accept the corrections in our journey, and also we have to accept and welcome the responsibilities that life is thrusting on us. This is very important. Now self-discipline becomes very powerful when combined with goal setting, passion and planning. So a duo or amalgamation of self-discipline with all these traits is very interesting and is very powerful also. So to do it, what we have to do? We can have a very simple assignment or activities. Say for example, once we set our goals, we have to stick to them. But somewhere we have to write the goals and we have to write the time frame as well. Say for example, I give myself, or I set a goal for myself that I will learn calligraphy, say for example. So I have to do two things. First of all, I have to set my mind that I have to learn calligraphy because I'm desirous of it, and I have to give a time limit to it as well. It is not that days on and days out I am learning calligraphy and I am not completing it. It will not work, right? So I have to identify and I have to focus the work, and then I have to give a time limit. Why is this time limit very important? Because if the achievement is not time bound, then the achievement is not at all a goal setting. We are lacking in the goal setting techniques. So this is very important, that we have to support ourselves achieve the goal, and that also within a stipulated time limit. Next, what are the pillars of self-discipline? Acceptance, willpower, hard work. Sometimes you say smart work nowadays, not hard work. Then industry and persistence. Now, willpower and self-discipline, these are very intertwined, and these are very contemplating themselves, and they have a much more compatibility, because when willpower and discipline combines itself, it gives a dividend in the results. It removes dullness, boring in life. It nurtures you in your behavior and reactions. It gains success in every walk of life, and also it creates happiness and satisfaction in life. Now, what is willpower? Willpower is the ability to overcome the laziness and procrastination. Laziness and procrastination, we are very lazy people. We know we should not be lazy. We should not get up at 8 o'clock in the the weekends, but we tend to get up at 8 o'clock in the weekends, seeing that we don't have school today. We tend to get up 10 o'clock in the morning, seeing that we don't have any other responsibilities today because this is a holiday. But these things we have to avoid, and these are the lazinesses that are inbuilt in ourselves, where we have to push ourselves a little and overcome those with our willpower. Now, willpower also is developed, is also helpful for developing the inner strength, the inner power, attaining self-consciousness and self-realization. It is very important to understand what you do desire, what you do want, and how you have to achieve that. So there lies your willpower of framing your goals and attaining your goals with a stipulated time. These are very, internal motivation. These cannot be external. So let's come to the benefits, some of the benefits of the self-discipline. The benefits follows like, it is a power to follow decisions, enabled to follow actions, leads to self-confidence and self-esteem, leads to happiness, strength and satisfaction, assimilation of knowledge, power, competitive excellence, tolerance, flexibility and originality. So you see, what are the attributes or the positive powers that are discussed over here are all required in our life, and very importantly, we all have these things in our life. There is nothing to nurture more. The only thing that we have to nurture is the practicing of the things that we learn, practicing of the beliefs that we learn, practicing of the the philosophy we learn, and we have to head towards it without any laziness. That is very important. Now, building self-discipline with joy and meaning and challenges. So what we get out of it? Hard work is often seen as something drains your energy and requires a bit of suffering, But I don't think that this is always true. But researchers shows that people can develop self-discipline and even find working hard or smart works self-discipline enjoyable, meaningful and energizing. Say for example, we'll discuss how to build self-discipline by learning to find work hard energizing and enjoyable, finding meaning in your work, and treating weakness and setbacks as challenges. Okay. So, say for example, in our everyday life, people like doing all sorts of difficult things that require self-discipline, like say for example, playing competitive sports, competing the puzzles, say for example 1,000 pieces puzzles, spending hours on preparing elaborate meals. So you might have noticed that working hard and practicing self-control makes outcomes better and more meaningful. Create reward challenges. Create rewarding challenges. What is that? We have to think that challenges you have enjoyed in the past or always wanted to try and start doing them, right? So you have to create challenges which are very rewarding. Remember when your effort paid off. Say for example, human memory tends to focus on bad stuffs most probably, and basically we think to remember those bad stuffs which annoys ourselves. But why don't we spend much time thinking about the good stuffs? To ensure that the brain learns to link effort and reward, take some time to think about those times too. For example, every night write down about the time your self-control paid off that day. Or it could be something small like getting bed out of without hitting the snoozing effects, or you have to go to work and rush to work so you're not using the alarm, right? When you're feeling demotivated, take a break and recall one time from your past when your efforts and willpower paid off. Perhaps it was an important exam or making your first performance. It could be like that. You have to look around at how others people's smart work also leads to success. Now, how to work even when it is not enjoyable. This is very important. To begin, take a moment to think about why you want to work hard and to develop your self-discipline in the first place. Why? What is the reason out of it? Even though popular culture and researchers finds that the work hard provide people a sense of meaning, increasing your overall well-being. Working hard or working can be very fulfilling basic psychological needs like the desire to be very competent, to feel competent. It also can help you to live a life that is purposeful life with a consistent values like taking care of a family or personal growth. So you have to understand what is the reason out of your work. Why do you want to work hard? That reason you have to find. That why is very important. Once you identify the why in your life, the how will come automatically. Next important is recognize that failure is the part of that growth process. Indeed, any difficult task that requires an ongoing self-discipline will occasionally involve setbacks, and it is very true to our life. It is very common in our life, but what is uncommon is how you react to our setbacks. The most important work likely to involve failure. This is the very truth, this is the fact, and you have to accept the fact. And overcoming failure may even help you better develop the grit that is needed for the success. That is this grit for the success is very important. This grit comes once you accept that the failure is very certain. You learn from your failures and you move on. Not only move on, you move forward with your lessons. So friends, go forth, practice building self-discipline, and most importantly, enjoy yourself during the process. Thank you.